Hi everyone, this is Karen here, taking my walk. At the beach, feeling really good. We just came out of the full moon or new moon in Taurus. I keep wanting to say full moon like a lot, so I don't know. I think we've been releasing a lot of things, even if it's a new moon, because just releasing things that we don't value any longer to kind of get clear on what we do value. I feel that is going on. I got a lot of that downloaded to me during this new moon. It was beautiful. It was like a release. And then I could get clear once I released and I let myself release through. I do different things when I'm trying to release. I can dance or walk on the beach is one of my favorites because it really clears your energy. And I just kind of bring in my mind when I'm ready to release, and I just consciously let it go and then ask for direction from my guides and my higher self for clarity on the alignment and with the planets and the stars communicating with us, projecting energy. I think it's galactic kind of intelligence that come through the planets. And what I've been getting is that it's really interesting. I keep getting the same thing over and over of my value, and I feel it's for collective as well. And part of my hesitation, guys, is when I'm walking, I'm seeing all these beautiful shells and I collect. And by the way, shells are in the theme of Venus. Venus represents seashells, their beauty, and so it really gives me, I have it surrounded around me in my room where I'm staying in the beach house. So it's really nice to feel that. Anyway, I wanted to come on today and kind of just see how you guys were doing. Comment below. Leave me a message to what you went through this new moon. Was it more of a release for you and then clarity, or was it just like right there for you? Everybody's going to experience it differently. And also I wanted to come on to kind of go into a little bit of the astrology, because we have some major changes going on, and we've had a lot of changes happening here. It's just really prestigious times and evolutionary energy that we're having right now. With this North Node in Cancer, it's 0 degrees now. We're going into, just in a few days, we're going now into the North Node in Gemini. That means that the South Node's going to be in Sagittarius. Anytime there's a South Node, it's usually about processing and releasing and moving towards that North Node. Excuse me, there's a big tractor going by. He's cleaning the beach. The beach is so clean. There's not a speck of dirt. It's just nature, the shells, the seaweed. So the North Node going into Gemini is what I want to talk about today, and how much that's going to differ from what we've been feeling and kind of going through this whole year and a half, almost 2 years, I think, of the North Node in Cancer, of feeling home, and we want to feel safe and comforted. And it's really beautiful because it's my North Node, number one, and I love it. And there's nothing more for me important than to feel the energy of that coziness with candles lit and the loveliness of the energy. And so I'm always working on creating that for myself. And my North Node, when I first had children's, went into my first North Node return. This was my second. So it's really beautiful to understand yourself at that level of the truth inside of you, whether the North Node changes or not. So if any of you have the North Node in Cancer, it's not that that's going to go away, because that is part of who you are and what you're working towards enveloping this time in this life. So really, when it comes to North Nodes and South Nodes, your North Node is like your Dharma. It's where you are headed. It's what you're to develop. And normally, the South Node that you have, which for Cancer it's Capricorn, is stuff that you've already developed in another life and you utilize as you're here. But you also are here to balance the development of not being just that, to develop, for example, Capricorn and Cancer North Node. You're here to develop tuning into your own home within your body and your home within your spirit and your home, your physical home, and really tuning into what that feels like, and just remembering that and maintaining that. That's true to who you are, wherever your North Node is. Your natural abilities come from your past life, because you already have that. You came in with that. Your North Node is what you're here to develop. So, with the change of the North Node going into Gemini, for those that have North Node in Gemini, this is the time to put out your truth. Speak your truth, write your truth, sing your truth. Let it be expressed. Also, the understanding and the knowledge of that truth and that expression and what that really means. I'm very excited because we need this North Node right now in Gemini, the awareness of it, especially when you have Saturn in Aquarius. It's like you got to get your energy right. And the one thing that I always tell my clients is that everything here on this planet, and I might say because of the understanding I have of the entire universe, and everything is energy, and everything is communicating. It's sending signals to each other like codes. Everything is connecting and communicating. So, in that regard, that everything is energy and everything is communication, that must mean that communication is really important. Let's talk about communication. I got drawn and communicated with by this gorgeous shells. It's like every time I feel to go, I just let my body go and I find this beautiful special shell. I love communicating with the earth. I love being at the ocean and communicating with the dolphins. In fact, this morning before I got on the video, I called out to the dolphins and my own special prayer and asked them to show. And we'll see if they come. We'll see. Right now, they're not here right now. I don't feel them yet. But this is my beginning of my walk, so we'll see that their divine timing and if they show. But they hear me. I'm communicating with them. You can communicate with anything because everything is energy and everything is communicating. That means communication is everything. If you just sit and think of that, how everything is communication, energetic communication. That's a power. That's a real Saturn Aquarius taking authority over your energy with what you're communicating. Along with the communication of all, like I said, the earth, the birds, the sea, the dolphins, the whales, the sky, the sun, Saturn, communicating, thinking. Thinking is communicating because thinking is signaling, a signal to your brain, and then it goes to the nervous system. And one of the things that I learned a while ago, and I've really had this as a whole, but there's just a missing a little bit, and I think this North Node for me is going to give me that missing piece, so I'm excited. I love growth, and I love expanding, and just like so amazing. Just get overtaken by this ocean. My intuition, I just stopped. So, communication. We send our signal and we send our thoughts and energy and what our intentions are and what we're communicating. It gets responded to. There is a communication happening. So what I was saying earlier was that when there's a lot of teachings based on this, and this is something that I learned. This is not something I downloaded myself. Most of the things I talk to you about is in the moment and what I'm feeling and what I'm feeling and understanding in my own knowledge. And this one is something I learned and I thought it was really interesting. So I'll share it and then you guys can tell me what you think about it. And the idea is that your brain does not think of ideas. It doesn't conceive the birthing of a new idea. It perceives what it's received of that conception. I'll try to repeat that. The brain perceives what it receives of a concept. And yes, it is like a motor, so we can keep that thought going. We can keep our mind working. We can think a thought and a math problem and use our incredible brain to figure out a problem. But when it comes to receiving downloads of truth and communication from higher realms, from your higher self, your guides, angels, the earth, it's more of a receptivity and then a perception of that receptivity. The brain receives it and perceives it and decides what it means. So the concept of truth is what our brains agree and to decide it is. That's the meaning. There's no built-in meaning. Isn't those beautiful birds? There's no built-in meaning, so we decide what the meaning is of everything. So that means the point of this idea that I do get is that when you get these higher ideas, they're brought down through you energetically and as a higher, like the higher self and the higher thoughts that just are wrung down in you, the divine knowledge that we're all receiving all the time is received from the brain, and the brain perceives it, receives it, and then considers the concept based on how it was received. That's a really interesting concept, because if we perceive something that's being received, even if it's from another person or higher download, we decide what that means for us and how we feel about it. So during this North Node in Gemini, really focus on where your truth comes from. Like, notice to yourself when someone's speaking or you get a download, what is your brain doing with that as it receives it and perceives it? Then it starts its own communication, thoughts, and then maybe a conversation or even body language into that concept or idea. I hope I haven't lost you guys. This is super interesting stuff. So I'm just going to back up a little bit on this idea, but it's really important to know during this North Node in Gemini, because everything is energy and everything is communicating. That's a power, by the way. We can utilize this. We must take full responsibility of what we receive and how we decide what it means. We must take full responsibility of our thoughts. We must take full responsibility of our talk, the things we say. We must take responsibility for our body language. Everything is communication. And then that means that if everything is communication and everything is energy, that means that you can create. You can create with your thoughts. Literally. That's what this North Node is about. I think I'll go deeper into this, or not deeper, maybe even lighter, and just make it more astrology driven. But this knowledge is important because everything we say and think and do and how we respond to everything that's communicating with us is what we then start to create together with that. It's a co-creation. So co-create beauty, co-create love, co-create living in joy, togetherness, and humanity. I love you, tribe. Thank you so much for listening. I know that I ramble sometimes. Something comes and I just let it go. Let me know if this was helpful at all. Should I keep doing these videos on the beach? Or would you rather me be more on set and speak a little more arrangedly? You know, where I build a bullet point and I really tell you guys information, or would you rather me just channel? Let me know so I can give you more. I'm working on it all. I love you guys. Blessings and so much light and love. Communicate beauty and joy and love so that you create that.